Good morning. I'm at my happy place on my walk. And so I kept thinking that Mondays are mindful Mondays. I like to have things that have alliteration. Fearless Friday, Mindful Monday. But what I want to talk about this Monday is being mindful of not being in your head. Because you can be mindful. I'm going to say it this way. You can only actually truly be mindful from your heart. Let's look at that. So, how many people spend a lot of time in their head thinking? What about this? What about that? What should I do? I'm going to do this. Da-da-da-da-da. Right? It's exhausting. Brains are good for thinking. We need them in that capacity. But in order to avoid the exhaustion of what I call the hamster wheel, or we could say rabbit trails of thought that just spin our wheels and get us nowhere, we have to drop down into our hearts. And honestly, that is probably the one thing that has changed my life the most in the last year. When I learned how to get out of my head and into my heart. And I'm still working on the blog. I do have a little streak of perfectionism, but I also have a little streak of procrastination. So I have all these notes and paragraphs flitting about, but I couldn't quite get into my heart to write the blog. So I spent a lot of time in my head, and that's where this came from, right? So anyway, what really started me down the path of taking my life into my own hands was learning to get out of my head and into my heart. And it's been a theme. I started writing about it as signposts along the way in my life. Like, I've literally had at least 3 occasions that I can think of specifically where someone has said to me basically, like, you're all in your head and you're not in your heart. You're not saying this from the heart. I don't hear anything other than logic, right? So this is my tendency to be Spockish. Where I get very analytical and the feelings, it's like, let's just deal with the facts here, please, and make a decision. Only that's not the kind of decision I've been taught. It's been a choice, right? Like, I need to make a choice. What's the most logical choice I can make? So decisions, I would say, come from the heart. And to get to the heart, the way that I found, it was actually a technique. I think there's a book called Heart Math, and there's a Facebook group called Heart Math, there's a website called Heart Math, and there's actually a little gadget which helped me because I'm a kind of a gadgety person. But they talk about coherence, and that's getting your heart, getting into your heart space. I don't want to talk too long. I was going to make this really quick and powerful, but I'm in my head. So I'm going to drop down into my heart right now. I'm going to take a deep breath. The breath leads you to your heart, and your heart knows. Your heart is who you are and is what you want. So go there today. Be mindful from your heart today. And you don't have to make a decision. You can just feel and be in that space of your heart. And maybe there's been something that you've been trying to make a decision about. The heart knows the answer already. And what I found when I did this exercise, I will post it in the comments after. I will go find it for you. You get to the point where you're in your heart space And the leader of the exercise says, okay, so now ask your question that's been on your mind, that's driving you crazy because you don't know the answer. My question at the time was, what do I do about this job? And when I got to do, what do I do? I heard the word quit down here, not here, where I was, what am I going to do about my job? What am I going to do about my job? What am I going to do about my job? I heard right here, one word, quit. And I was like, huh? I can't just quit. What, are you crazy, right? So I spent probably another 6 months trying to figure out how that could happen. But at the same time, I believed it. I felt it. I was like, okay, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust my heart. My heart knows what is best for me. And I'm going to listen to my heart. So from that point forward, I took as a fact that the best thing for me to do was to leave that job. And every decision I made after that was influenced by that knowing. So I encourage you, if life is great and everything's fine, that's amazing and awesome, and you may do this all the time already. But we're always growing and we're always changing. So maybe there's just a little thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just that little gnawing thing that just keeps playing around in your head. Take it to your heart. Let your heart tell you. Because your heart knows. Your heart is you. So, be mindful of your heart. And know that I love you. And I appreciate you. So you appreciate you. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.